My name is Liam. I've always been the kind of woman who keeps to herself, living in a quiet neighborhood just outside of San Diego. Just outside of San Diego. Palm trees swayed gently in the breeze. Kids ride their bikes down the cul-de-sac, and everyone pretends to be friendlier than they really are. You know the type of place I'm talking about. White fences, green lawns, and secrets buried beneath polite smiles. For 5 years, I worked as a regional marketing manager for a tech startup. I made decent money, enough to afford my modest 3-bedroom home and keep up with the Joneses or, in this case, my neighbor Claire. Claire was the kind of woman who thrived on competition, always flaunting her new car, talking loudly about her bonuses at work, inviting the whole street to wine nights on her patio. She acted like the queen of the block, and to her, I was just another woman barely getting by. Things changed the day I got laid off. It wasn't dramatic, no screaming, no tears, just a Zoom meeting and an email saying, "We regret to inform you, .. Double quotes. The startup had folded. Everyone was out. My laptop was shut, my access revoked, and just like that, I was unemployed. When Claire found out, she didn't even try to hide her smug grin. "Tough break, girl," she said, standing on her porch, wine glass in hand. "Guess you should have gone into real estate like me." That little comment ignited something in me. At first, I panicked. I had savings, but not forever. Bills were still coming. And with job listings drying up, I needed a plan, fast. But here's the twist. I had an idea. Something that had been brewing in the back of my mind for months. A passion project. Something I'd always pushed aside because of my not just the corporate kind, but personal. I helped friends land jobs by rewriting their resumes and portfolios. I built fake brands for fun. Now, I had time and desperation. So, I started small. I took on 2 clients who needed help building their personal brand. One was a local chef trying to launch a cooking channel. The other was a fitness coach wanting to attract higher-end clients. I helped them with everything. Content, strategy, social media, brand voice, word spread. Referrals started coming in. Within 6 months, I had a full roster. I filed the LLC, built a website, and officially launched my own branding agency. The early days were a grind. I was waking up at 6 a.m., juggling projects from my kitchen table, teaching myself web design on YouTube, hopping on Zoom calls with clients between making meals and managing bills. But every time I saw a client land a deal or hit a growth milestone, I felt something I never did in the corporate world: fulfillment. I started getting noticed online. A few viral LinkedIn posts brought attention to my agency. Suddenly, I was being asked to speak on small business podcasts. An entrepreneur-focused YouTube channel featured my story. That exposure doubled my client list. By the end of year 1, I moved into a co-working space downtown. I brought on 2 virtual assistants, a freelance designer, and a part-time copywriter. We became a lean creative machine. I didn't just help clients build brands, I helped them find their voice. Meanwhile, Claire was still Claire. Same ego, same loud conversations about market flips and commissions, but there was less swagger. She started spending more time at home. Less new stuff in her driveway. She wasn't selling like she used to. One morning, I ran into her at the local coffee shop. I was picking up an iced Americano and chatting with a client on the phone when she walked in. She looked surprised to see me. "Business call?" she asked. "Yeah," I replied. "Just locking in a new project." She raised an eyebrow. "You're really doing all this branding stuff full-time now, huh?" "Yep," I said. "And loving it." She nodded slowly, as if trying to process the shift in dynamic. I could tell it bothered her, not in a hostile way, but in a "how did she pull that off" kind of way. Then came the knock on my door. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was sipping cold brew, watching a documentary. She looked ... less cocky. She didn't have the usual bravado, just a hesitant knock and a sheepish expression. "Hey Jordan, got a minute?" "Sure," I said, stepping onto the porch. "Listen, I'm in kind of a situation. Market's been rough, my numbers are down, and the firm just let a bunch of us go. I'm trying to figure out my next move, and I heard you're doing pretty well." I waited. "So," she said, "I was wondering if you were, hiring. I could do marketing, or sales, whatever you need." Oh, how the tables turn? I didn't rub it in. I didn't say, "Guess you should have gone into branding like me." I just told her to send over her resume. Truth is, she had good people skills. She knew how to talk, to sell, but she didn't know how to build a brand. That's where I came in. A week later, I hired her as a junior account rep, not to be petty, to give her a chance and, maybe, to remind myself how far I'd come. Claire's first few weeks were rocky. She was used to fast sales, quick wins. But building a brand? That's about nuance, strategy, patience. I coached her through client meetings, showed her how we structure storytelling, how we align design with messaging. I gave her books to read, had her shadow me in every client pitch, taught her how to really listen before speaking. It was like rewiring a machine that had only been taught to close, not connect. Over time, she got better. She started taking pride in her work. She stopped bragging, started asking questions. And I realized something. Sometimes people need to be humbled before they can grow. She still made mistakes, missed deadlines, sent an email to the wrong client once, but she owned up to them. That humility, it was new. 6 months in, Claire closed a major client for us, a real estate influencer who wanted to rebrand for a YouTube channel. It was a full package deal: web redesign, video scripts, social playbook. Claire nailed the discovery calls and worked closely with our designer to get the messaging right. The client was thrilled, left a glowing review. That month, we hit our revenue goal early. At our Friday team meeting, I called Claire out in front of everyone, gave her credit. The look on her face wasn't smug. It was something closer to gratitude. Later that night, we grabbed drinks at a local bar. "You know," she said, "I used to think you were just some woman coasting through life." "Yeah," I said. "You made that pretty clear." She chuckled. "I was wrong. What you built, here it's real. And it's damn impressive." We clinked glasses. No hard feelings. Fast forward to today, 2 years since I lost that job. Personacraft now operates out of a full office suite. We've got 10 people on the team, a podcast of our own, and a growing list of clients across industries: tech, health, food, entertainment. We started running workshops for entrepreneurs. I flew out to New York for a branding summit. Claire ran one of our masterclasses on storytelling for sales professionals. She nailed it. I got invited to guest lecture at a university. A local journalist did a feature on our journey, titled "From Jobless to CEO." That headline hit me hard. Claire is now our head of accounts. She mentors junior reps, hosts onboarding calls, leads strategy meetings. My neighbor laughed when I lost my job. But now, she works for me and she's proud too. And me. I'm proud. I never let that moment define me. I used it to rebuild something better. Sometimes, rock bottom is just the start of the story. And if you're there right now, just know your comeback might be closer than you think. Because one door closing might just be the push you need to build your own. And maybe, just maybe, one day someone who doubted you will walk through it asking for a job.